All right, so if we are here, we'll get started. If we're not, then they'll come in slightly late. So there is an ideal position for this. You may have actually heard it on the previous recording, how I say when you're sitting, you have your hands resting on your lap like this. If you're lying back, you've got your hands resting on the floor alongside of your body, palms facing up. And one of the things I always say is without your hands touching each other. Did you ever wonder why? Did you ever wonder why? Anybody wonder why? Okay, good. I just want to know if you have ever wondered why. I didn't say I was going to tell you. You want to know why? Sorry. Well, it's what she said. If you didn't hear it, then you don't get it. Okay. Okay, why the palms down and up? Actually, palms down is to help lower your blood pressure. Palms up is to help raise your blood pressure. Now, one of the things that we're doing with this is we're having our palms up because we're going to be placing the resources in each hand. So that's why when we do this, this is what we have to do. The reason we do it laying down, why we have the palms up out here instead of down like that, is that there are two bones in the arm. And when you're laying down, those bones are laying side by side. When you turn your hand, they're crisscrossing, and so there's stretch receptors that are being fired off. So what we want to do is we want to be in the most open posture possible. And if you cross over your legs, you're actually neurologically forcing certain pathways to get fired off. This is my auditory side crossed over my kinesthetic side. If I fold my arms, same thing. If my hands are touching, there are, in the ancient traditions of meditation, something called mudras. And each mudra or finger posture has a different effect. For example, you may have seen like spiritual masters in sculptures or carvings doing these kinds of mudras where it might be this, it might be this, and each one of these has a different effect. So each one of them links certain energies. So they say, you've always kind of seen the yoga meditator with their fingers, right? Why this is because it's actually keeping the energy in you, looping it in. So we don't want that. We don't want these. We want the most open posture possible so that the learning can flow through us fast. Cool? Question. Green one.
Okay. If you have time today, I don't know if you, because I know you have to get. Could you speak on just like any healing sounds or healing vowels that you recommend for like photo reading?
Probably not.
Okay.
But we can take that offline. That's okay. Any other distracting questions that I don't want to answer? Yeah. Okay. So there's the idea is each one of these mudras has a sound associated with it. In Bhakti Yoga, they make a sound sa, da, na, ma. Sa, da, na, ma, sa, da, na, ma, sa, da, na, ma. And they'll just keep repeating that as they do their meditation. And these mudras and these mantras have an effect neurologically, physiologically. There are energy channels in the yogic tradition, are different than the Taoist tradition. But these energy pathways that go through us are called nadis, and these nadi channels, these energy channels, may get blockages, and we want to open them up, and there's ways of doing that. If you can just think about having a conflict in your body for years and imagine how many blockages that causes. And so when we get to this, what we're really doing is releasing those blockages, pulling the stop signs out. All right? So you ready to do it? All right. So if you would please sit back, feet on the floor, hands resting on your lap with your hands facing up, your palms facing up. Take a deep breath in. Please close your eyes as you exhale. I've also described this idea of doing 3, 2, 1. We can think the number 3 and imagine this physical relaxation moving from the top part of our head to the soles of the feet. This wave of relaxation, carrying any tensions out of our hands, out of our feet, flowing, melting away. I've also described just letting your shoulders drop, letting your forehead relax, the muscles of your face to relax. I've described this idea of the number 2 in the word relax being a mental relaxation signal. As you think of the word relax repeating here, you really let any worries, concerns of any other times and places, just let them go. With each exhale, you just feel yourself letting them go. You're coming more fully into the present moment. Mentioned earlier, right now, you're okay. You're safe. Your needs are taken care of. So come into the present. Another way I've described that is feel the flow of the breath in your nostrils, because you really can't think of other stuff while you're just attending to the feeling, that touch of the breath in your nostrils. So that as you exhale and inhale, you let that breath be connected. No pauses, no jerks, no hesitations, just a continuous flow. One into the next in a continuous cycle of breathing. And with the exhale and inhale being of a similar duration, you bring that balance into your being. Balancing the hemispheres, balancing the active and passive energy channels, the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, the body, the mind. You're bringing, with the use of your breath, a greater sense of balance to your being. And then if you imagine the sound of the number 1 and a beautiful plant with your mind's eye, it's a signal to enter this resource level. You can imagine yourself going into a quiet scene, sitting or lying back. And you're with yourself, and you know that you're okay. But more than that, you're really also connected to the magnificent resources that are within you. Now, in the issue that you've been struggling with up until now, the goal you haven't made progress on, the oscillation that seems to exist in your life about something that's really important, we're going to break through the oscillation, the stuck states on this. And so I invite you to imagine that in your left hand is the present and the past, and in your right hand is the future, what you're choosing to create. In truth, you can decide which hand, but for simplicity's sake, for me guiding you through it, I'm going to ask that you put your future goal, the outcome you desire, in your right hand, and the present situation, the negatives, in your left hand. The fear, the thing that you're moving away from, the opposite of the goal. And first, we're going to start with that left hand. Imagine in your left hand are all the detriments associated, all the negatives associated with this past and present situation that's a problem for you. So imagine there's an object here that you can actually hold in your left hand. And it's this object that has some mass, some density to it. Feel it, squeeze it, hold it, and feel it there. It might be geometric, it might be amorphous, it might be thin, it might be thick, it might be spiky, it might be smooth, it might be rough in texture. It might have a sound associated to it with it. It might have a color. But imagine in your left hand there's this object. And this is all the detriments associated with the opposite of your goal. And now imagine in your right hand is your goal, the thing you're moving towards, this thing that you have claimed you truly desire. And now I want you to think about the potential future negatives of this coming to pass. What are the detriments, the potential detriments of the future situation? And even if you can't remember all the words you wrote down, don't worry about that. You know the energy of it. So imagine there's an object in this hand, in your right hand, and feel its weight, and feel its density, and feel its shape. Whether it's thick or thin, whether it's heavy or light, whether it's geometric or just a blob, whatever it is. Maybe it's solid, maybe it's hollow. Is there a temperature associated with it? Is there a sound associated with it? Lift your hand up and down and just feel the feeling of it here. Is there a color? Now lift your two hands up a little bit and lift them up and down and feel the difference between these two. But now also notice, if you would, in the left hand, it's this object and this resource isn't just in the hand. Feel it in your left arm, your lower arm and your upper arm. Feel it in your left shoulder. Feel it in the left side of your chest and up into the left side of your face and your brain. Feel it down through your abdomen and your left leg, your thigh and your calf and your foot. Feel this associated, I'm calling it a resource. It's all the detriments associated with the opposite of your goal, the thing you fear. Feel it on this side of the body. And now on the right side of your body, feel the opposite, the thing that you're going towards, and feel the detriment of it, not just in your right hand, but feel it in your right forearm and your right upper arm and your right shoulder and your right chest, and feel it going up into your face and into your head, and feel it down into your abdomen, your gut, and down your pelvis and your thigh and your calf, all the way down your foot. So now in the right side of your body, you've got this energy of this resource all in this side of your body. Now feel the split right down the middle. Whether you've known it or not, this is what's been going on. These two sides have actually been warring with each other for quite a while. It's time for the war to be over. We're talking about resolving the conflict. And the best way for the conflict to be resolved is for them to learn from each other that they're both working to help you out. They're both attempting to assist you. They both have a positive intention, no matter how negative it seems to appear to you. So we're going to let these two come together. So imagine your hands moving toward each other, not out of a sense of conflict, but out of a sense of collaboration, out of a sense of learning. Let the two of them learn from each other, and let your hands move toward each other. Don't let them touch yet, but lift your hands up and let them move toward each other, the palms facing the palms, and move them toward and pull them away, and move them toward and pull them away. It's like almost like there's an energy ball between your hands, like a sponge rubber ball or two opposing magnetic fields. You can feel the way when the closer they get, the more they repel each other. Feel this energy. There's a lot of energy here. And it's all your energy. This is an energy that's been trying to help you. So see them coming together to assist you in new and creative ways, rather than causing you to get stuck or stop, to really see that your life can be in greater flow and balance and harmony. So now at a rate that's right for you, bring your hands all the way together so the palms of your hands actually touch. Now feel it. Might be kind of tingly as they get close to each other, but press the palms of your hands together and feel these two sides of you integrate now. Feel it. Feel it in your head. Feel it in your face. Feel it in your shoulders and your arms and your hands. Feel it in your chest. Feel it in your abdomen, your gut. Feel it in your pelvis and your legs. There's an integration of learnings taking place. Now open your hand slightly as if to hold a new object that's different than either of the other two. And hold this in your hands. Now feel this new resource, this new object. And you can move it from hand to hand and feel the size, the weight, the shape, the density, the texture, the color. How is it different? How is it different now than the way either of the other two were? How has it become different? Now take all of that and bring it up to the upper part of your chest, just over your heart. And bring it up to your chest and press it right into your heart. Whether you're right hand over left or left hand over right, doesn't matter. But feel yourself, press it into your chest. Take a big inhale. And as you exhale, just let this learning spread throughout your body in a positive way. That there's new learnings that have taken place. And there's a communication of a new level of awareness and collaboration that's taking place in you now. Just feel the thanks, the gratitude moving through you. And bring your hands back to your lap again, palms facing up. And just pause here to just notice. Notice what's happening in your body right now. You've just opened a tremendous amount of energy. You've reclaimed power because that power isn't being dissipated by oscillation. There's an alignment. There's a congruence. There's an inclusion of all of who you are. It's bringing you closer to the true source of your power, your presence, your goals. Okay, now in your right hand, we're going to place the benefits of the goal that you're going for. Think of, in your right hand, all of the positives associated with the accomplishment of what it is you've set your mind upon. And imagine a resource here, a new resource, an object of some kind. And I want you to feel it in this hand. Feel the size, the shape, the weight of it, color, texture, density. Are there sounds associated with it? Feel it in this hand, and also feel it in this arm. Feel it in this shoulder. Feel it in this side of your face. Feel it in the side of your chest, your abdomen, your leg, all the way down to your foot. Feel it. That resource is all over here on this side of your body. It's also an object in your hand right now. And in your left hand, put the benefits of the opposite of your goal. In other words, what are the present positives? What are the goodies you're now enjoying? I mean, we started all this by saying, you're safe, you're okay. So there's got to be some good stuff that's going on even though you don't have your goal. And there's part of you really does not want to lose out on any of the goodies you now got. So imagine the benefits of the present positives, the opposite of your goal. And really, if you could think about it as the thing you fear most about staying in the present, the thing you're trying to get away from, what are the benefits? I mean, there's secondary gains. There's all kinds of things that are benefits. That's one of the major reasons why you haven't made the change yet. So imagine this resource here in your left hand. Imagine its size and shape and its weight, its color and its texture. Feel it. Is it dense? How's it different than what's in the right hand? But really feel it here in your left hand. And it's not just in this hand, it's in this left arm, it's in this left shoulder, it's in the left side of your face and head, it's in the left side of your chest and abdomen, it's down into your pelvis and your left leg, all the way down your foot. Feel it all over on this side of your body. So we've got benefits on this left side, and we've got benefits on the right side. And these two parts of you have been trying to get your life to work with very different ideas. One, by growing into what's possible, and the other by holding you in what's safe, what's known. They both want your best interest. They're both working for your best interest. So isn't it time to get them together? To stop the war. Okay, imagine the UN peace treaty, right? Just leave all the ammunition, leave all the oscillation, leave all the warring outside of the room. These are two distinct universes of energy that have lived inside of you and have been separated by a common goal. How odd, how disorienting this dilemma really is. But it's time for the conflict to be over. It's time for cooperation and collaboration, creating an interior world that really works. So begin bringing your hands toward each other. And let them begin to learn from each other everything that's been needed to know by the other side. And so there's a give, there's a take, there's a take, there's a give, there's a communication taking place way more rapidly than your conscious mind can even follow it. This is happening thousands of times, maybe 4,000 times faster than you can consciously even watch it occurring. But just feel your hands now, kind of bring them toward each other in a way, and feel that energy, that pressure between them, like that big sponge ball between them, the poles of a magnet. You might feel the tingling in your hands as they get closer, and almost like a prickly feeling of all this energy. This is an enormous energy ball. An enormous energy ball that's been actually devoted to perpetuating a conflict rather than a collaboration. We're going to free that energy to create a new way of being. And when you're ready, when you feel that both of these sides of you are ready, let your palms come together. And feel this integration taking place. Feel it in your head, feel it in your chest, feel it in your abdomen, feel it in your arms, feel it in your hands, your legs, all the way from the crown of your head to the tips of your toes. One integrated whole human being doing the best that you can. Now not just limited to a narrow comfort zone, but we've popped the ends off of this comfort zone. You pulled the stop signs out. All of it's available to you. Open your hands and hold this new resource that's there. How is it different than the resource you had when they were separate? How is this different? What does it look like? And color and light, what's different about it? What's the size of it, the shape of it, the texture, the density? What's it like? Feel it there. See it. And now bring it to the upper part of your chest and press it right in there. Press it right into the place of your heart. Breathe it in. Take a breath in and just let it go into all the parts of you. Let it flow into every nerve and cell and fiber of your being. Let it light you up. Bring the lights on in your neurophysiology. This is your power. This is your energy to create a life that really works for you, your highest expression, with a feeling of sufficiency, a feeling of support and love, a knowing, a deep trust and faith, and the deep safety that you live in a loving universe that's here supporting you in being who you are destined to be. You're here bringing gifts and talents. The times of looking at your deficits is over. Who you are is magnificent. As you bring your hands to your lap, place your palms down on your lap and just sit back. Feels so good. Just feel that vibration in your head and your chest and your abdomen. Just feel the energy moving in and through you. Yes, you can live the life you imagine. So now imagine that you could live your life on this timeline that seems to go back behind you to the left and out in front of you to the right. It's timeline from the past to the future. And imagine you could lift up over your present moment and float up above your life, way up through this building, up through the sky, up into a cloud. You can look down on your timeline. You can see where you've come from, your trajectory from the past. You can see your present moment there, down there. You're sitting in that chair, in that spot, and you can look out into the future. And you can see this beautiful trajectory, this future that you really desire to live into, the life that you're choosing to create. And out there is the goal that you've sought, the goal that you've wanted to live, that thing you've wished to achieve, that desire that you have come into manifestation and fulfillment. Go over to that time. However far out it is, doesn't matter if it's this evening or if it's 3 years from now. Whatever it is, just go to that place. Float over the time of realizing your success. Go a little bit past it now and float down into your life. Float down into your body. And see your success through your own eyes. Feel what it feels like to walk with this success, this feeling of knowing you've already done it. You've accomplished it. It's already complete. Done deal. It's already happened. And how wonderful it feels. How free. How clear. And notice how available you are to give from this level of knowing and abundance and wisdom, from a pure heart that's here to give the most of who you are to the world. See yourself living full out. Feel it in your body. Hear it in your own ears. Words people say. The things you say to yourself. Feel how good it feels to know that you've already accomplished what it is you desire. Take a snapshot of this. And float up over your timeline once again. And look at the trajectory back to the present moment. Look at the things that have occurred that have brought you here, the breakthroughs, the amazing connections, the fabulous serendipities, the accomplishment of skills and greater knowledge and understanding. And now float all the way back to the present moment and come down into this present moment right here where you are in this chair. And you can look out into the future and see that future success. You have a snapshot of it. You can carry that with you. Now imagine what it would be like if right now you had already accomplished it. That if your life up until now could have already brought you to that level of success right here. And how would your future look different? Even greater levels of expression than you might have imagined up until now. Imagine what your life would have been 3 years from now had you already accomplished your success today. Now let's look into the past and imagine what would your life have been like today if 3 years ago you'd already accomplished this. So imagine now lifting up and floating back in time to 3 years ago. And as you float into your body 3 years ago and imagine all of this success, all of this accomplishment, all of this interior communication and clarity, focus and integration and inclusion of all your gifts, your talents, your capacities, your knowing, and this amazing level of congruence that's flowing through you now. Imagine what your future present would be like. what is your life like 3 years ago with all these gifts? And now float up once again. Come back to the present moment. Float into the body. Float right into the crown of your head, into your face, into your shoulders, into your arms, into your legs, so that you're 100% here. 100% now. Feel the relaxation in your shoulders. Feel the relaxation in your face. Feel the touch of the breath in your nostrils. And as you exhale and inhale slowly, smoothly, evenly, recognize this amazing connection to your internal resources. Feel how full, how safe, how loved, how connected you feel. And then at a rate which is comfortable for you, mentally count forward from 1 to 5 and rub your hands together, bringing your hands to your eyes and opening your eyes, the palms of your hands at the number 5. Slowly drawing your hands away from your face and into the room. Really feeling good. Right, before we did that exercise, you had an opportunity to talk with a partner. So I'd invite you to connect with your partner and talk about your experience with that. And we'll take 8 minutes again. This time I'll count 4 and 4 so you know when to switch. And I'll talk to my audience on the live stream. Hi there. So that was the experience of a basic integration technique. It's a technique that is published in a paraliminal recording called the New Option Generator. It's also expanded out in a much more robust way with each individual component in the Natural Brilliance program. As this Natural Brilliance process proceeds, we're going to get better at releasing. We're going to have additional ways of noticing. We're going to finish today by exploring what we can actually do to be more effective at releasing and noticing. Because remember, the real purpose of all of this is wherever we are, if for any reason we enter a stuck state, for any reason we start to oscillate, there's a hesitation, we pull back instead of leaning into our lives with our heart wide open and an open mind and an open will. If at any moment that happens, we have this as a resource. Okay, shake it off, release. Okay, notice, what are my choices? Okay, let's respond, let's do something different. And witness the effects. Are you moving away from your goal, or are you moving toward your goal? So that's what's coming as the program continues this afternoon and certainly tomorrow as well. Right. A few minutes, we'll get back together again. That's time. And just to let you all know, we're about ready to take our break. So any questions that may have come up during this, I'll be able to address those when we come back. Then what we're going to do is we're going to head into a further exploration about these first 2 steps, release and notice. So can you think about how what we were doing was a release just now? And can you also see that there was a bunch about noticing as well? You haven't really responded, you haven't really done much yet. So those sorts of things, like what do we do to actually move in the direction of our goals, is less important right now. You're in the moment. The idea is when you hit an oscillation, you feel yourself backing off from the thing that you really want, How do you stay present? How do you lean into it and have all of your resources be available to you? Remember I told you the story about how John at this Toastmasters club came up to me, and the biggest blessing that I received in all that was his statement that I'm okay. And there I found I had no peace in myself about what was happening. See? It seemed like I was utterly resourceless at that moment. And that simple act of kindness, of connecting me to my desire and my safety and my trajectory and my willingness to stay with it, and so on and so on. That's really what this is about. It's allowing why you're here to continue to flow through you and be expressed out in the world without any holdback, without any fears. So when you come back from break, we'll do that. Please check your watches.